The first week, Tuesday, January the 3rd, I go to the CPA comptroller, Greg McConnell. I said, Greg, how much money have we got in the general fund? He said, I knew you would want to know, so I've already looked it up. He said, you got about $800,000 left in the account today. This is what you got to work with. So, approximately $13 million had been paid out in the prior 3 months. There was money that had come in the door and went right back out to pay things that was already due and past due. So, first week, over $3.5 million. By Friday of the first week, we determined on January the 6th that we had over $3.5 million that was either due or past due that had not been paid. And the staff being overwhelmed with phone calls of people calling saying, are we going to get paid? Because prior to this, what vendors had been told was, you'll get paid to come first of the year. So it's the first of the year. People are wanting to know what's going on. So also in the second week, on Monday, January the 9th, we knew that we had payroll coming due that week for 435 people. It's going to be roughly $500,000 in payroll. So week 2, Tuesday, January the 10th, money in the general fund. Hey folks, we was up to $1 million. We had an extra couple of $100,000 come in. We were feeling pretty good. But the payroll for the month was going to be $1 million. So I'm sitting there trying to determine, what are we going to pay here? We've got $3.5 million in past due bills, got $1 million in the bank, got $1 million payroll. So what do we do? Also on that week, got electric company disconnect notices in the mail. Got a pretty good little stack of them. We had about, I think, 72 hours or so. They was going to cut the power off at some of our county buildings. So, by the second week, on Wednesday, January the 11th, we reduced annualized personnel costs by over $660,000 in that first week and a half. And these were positions that were no longer needed. These were people that were no longer needed. And these were some people that we had to help that we no longer needed. The accounting staff had been working many, many hours trying to get us a cash flow projection. What I was trying to get a handle on is I know we don't have any money, but how much money are we going to need going forward? What our cash projection was going to be. And so they were working very feverishly trying to do that. So by the second week on Thursday, January the 12th, we had determined that we needed to go to the Bank of Lafayette and borrow some money. And so Greg McConnell and myself went over there and met with the Gilberts, and laid everything out to them and took them a cash flow projection and said, folks, we need some help. But I said, I've got good news. I don't need all the money today. And they said, well, that's good. I said, but I could use a couple of $1 million like before the end of the week. I said, because here's where we are. So we also showed them in our cash projections that to get through 2017, to get through December 2017, we're projecting we're going to need about $8 million over and above what we have in projected revenue coming in just to survive, just to pay the bills, to pay the debt on time, to meet payroll, and continue to look for ways to cut and ways to increase revenue. So, the bad's over. That's all we're going to talk about, the bad, okay? Now we're going to go more forward into more positive things. One of the things that I realized when we first got in there, having over 400 employees, is we didn't have a human resource person that was dedicated to human resources. And we had a lot of issues that we were finding due to that fact. It was a person that was doing payroll and was keeping that going, but it was a pretty antiquated system that they were on at the time, and so they were spending a lot of their time just doing payroll and really didn't have the time to get into actual human resource functions. So I come in day one with Charlene, hired her come in day one to do human resources and to start working on stuff as simple as job descriptions. There just wasn't any. And policies and procedures, and people were coming to me and asking me questions like, What day are we going to do payroll? What day are we going to pay? But just real things that you would think, okay, that ought to be in a personnel manual. But nobody could produce one. Nobody could come up with a personnel policy or manual or anything like that. So I knew I needed to get somebody that was an HR professional that had a lot of years of experience and talent on board right away. Also, public relations. I knew the media does a lot of things, and a lot of times they're looking for the dirt. They're not always looking for the positive things you do, and they're not always looking for the positive things going on in the community. And so that's okay. We know where we stand. And so I knew we needed to bring someone in that's a professional in public relations that could help get our message out there of the positive things that we're doing in this county and all the great things that Walker County has to offer. So we added Joe LeGee's position, got him on board. And folks, News Channel 12 lost a real asset when Joe LeGee walked out of that door up there. And he's just been a blessing to me ever since. We also created Code Enforcement Director David Brown. This was an area that there was a lot of people asking for increased code enforcement. The way things had been operated before, it was based off of complaints. There wasn't anything being really proactive, and you saw just a deterioration of our county continue. So we put someone in charge of codes and created, an environment where we're going to be proactive. And many people say, oh, well, you've just gone and hired a bunch of bounty hunters. And you've just gone and created a bunch of new rules. Folks, I've not created not one new rule or policy when it comes to codes or building inspections or any of those things. We're just taking everything that was on the book and applying it today. We're not making any new rules at this point. And everyone that's in code enforcement, except for the actual director, but everyone actually out doing the code enforcement, we're already county employees. We've taken and promoted a couple of people from within and made them code officers. And so it's the staff that's been already in existence in the county, but prior to that, there was only one person doing code enforcement. And this county is just way too big, too many things going on where there's problems with codes. So now we've got 3 full-time people doing 100% codes and a couple of other people doing building inspections that are able to do codes as well. And then we have 2 more people that's been in. We're going to cross-train them to give us even 2 additional people to be able to work on code issues in our county. So change in workforce. We've created 3 new positions that I mentioned: Human Resource Director, Public Relations Director, and Code Enforcement. People no longer on staff with the prior administration. There's 23 people that were on payroll at the end of December that are no longer with us. I've taken and have added 5 people that have filled those 23 positions. So 5 people took the workload of what 23 were supposedly doing or not doing or what have you. And that has created an annualized cost savings of over $1.2 million already, just by that one little change there. And that adds in the 3 new positions. So that's a net savings, even with creating. So I've hired 8 people, 23 are gone, and we still save $1.2 million. Okay, emergency services. This is an area that I've campaigned quite a bit about, an area that's very important to me because I feel like God's telling me we need to get ready for the next one, the next big event or the next problem that may hit. And so we need to be ready. And so we got with our new chief and just tried to evaluate and understand what's going on in emergency services. 80% of our calls to our fire departments on the north end of the county. We've got a heavy population on the north end, a lot of elderly people on the north end. 80% of our calls are up there. Our closest full-time fire station is Rock Springs, Georgia. So if they get a dispatch call on the north end of the county, they're 15, 20 minutes plus getting to that call. Some of our biggest fire trucks are responding to accidents. Here's an accident scene. You see the great big fire trucks there? Yeah, this car was just mangled all to pieces. But why do you need 7,000 or 8,000 gallons of water on site? Always. Why do you need this type of equipment going out to an accident when there's not even a fire? So 85% of our calls, we understand from looking at our own data, is medical or accident related. 85%. So what we've instituted and put out there is a quick response vehicle called QRVs. This is not a new concept or new theory. This has been done in other marketplaces, but it's not been done here in Walker County. And so what we did, we took existing equipment and existing staff. Had a person tell me the other day, said, yeah, so-and-so's not happy with you. Why? You went and bought all those new fire trucks. Folks, I promise you, we've not bought one new piece of fire equipment. All these trucks were in inventory, sitting in the bays. So we respond to any accident, quicker response time, better gas mileage, less costly to maintain, extended lifespan of traditional engines. So go to the next slide. This right here is a side view of one of the quick response vehicles. These vehicles, as you see, also have a fire hose, carry some water on hand. They have extrication equipment, fire equipment, rescue equipment. There's a lot of things that two men can do in this truck. When they would send out one of the larger fire trucks, it'd be 4 men on the full-time staff would go out on that truck to a medical call or a lift assist where they needed to help lift someone into an ambulance or something of that nature. We send out a QRV, we send 2 people. The other 2 people are still at the fire station. That way you don't have an empty fire station. And then if they need to respond to a fire, they can hop on the fire truck and go to the next event. So we have these repurposed brush trucks at three of our full-time locations. Here's another shot here. So the first week, our statistics show us the QRVs responded to 39 out of 44 calls. The first 25 days, the QRVs responded to 284 out of 308 calls. So folks, we've been running a lot of heavy equipment up and down the road that's very expensive, that gets very low gas mileage, that's, loaded, heavy piece of equipment running down the road that takes up more space, more likely to be in an accident, it takes longer to get there. We're adding our additional full-time station, our 4th location is being renovated currently. This is the Station 2 in Flintstone. This is an inside shot here where we're building the living quarters to make this a full-time station on the north end to give us better coverage. Again, heavy call volume on the north end. This station already exists. All we're having to do is go in and petition out the living space, and 90% of that work's been done in-house by county employees. There's a few things like finishing the sheetrock and some things like that we're going to sub out. The HVAC we're going to sub out. About 90% of everything is being done in-house. That would give us 4 full-time stations with QRV staff. And we're not hiring any new folks. We're taking existing staff that we have that are already on board and just repositioning equipment. Okay, code enforcement. This is a big issue in our community. And this is an actual photo here, folks, of areas that our guys are running into. Biggest issues, household garbage, junk cars, dilapidated structures. People are just literally taking their trash and throwing it out. And what we're finding in the past, if nobody complained about that, sit there. Nobody called that in, nobody went out looking for it, it just sat there. So if you look here in the first 3 months, the yellow is 2016, the green's 2017. January 2017, they responded and notated 7 calls. This year in 2017, they did 25. If you look at March, last year they did 19. March this year, we already did 56 calls. And that's still just with one person in March. January, February, and March are just one person. So we've gone through and re-identified our vehicles. We've added a director of codes, promoted a couple of employees to code enforcement. We've set up a compliance zone. So our first zone is on the north end of the county. So basically from Highway 2 to Old Chattanooga Valley Highway to McFarland Road up to the state line. We've taken that north end, that Wilson Road corridor, and we've targeted that area first. And we literally are going house to house, door to door, walking the streets, looking at property. So you can see here what a difference this has made already. Look at April. 13 last year, already 133 this year in the month of April. And we're still working through some training. And you can see here, April 2017 cases, violations, there was 133. 226 that they checked are in compliance. So we're also tracking what we go look at that's in compliance and logging that data. Because if somebody comes up and says, hey, address 123 is out of compliance, we want to be able to pull up on our database and see if we've ever been there. So if it had been in compliance before, we've got a starting point. We know, okay, we've had a change of owner, got a new renter, whatever. We know what we're working with, and so we're going through and logging everything. So there's 133 that were out of compliance that got citation warnings and have been told they've got to get in compliance. So this is just kind of a summary breakout of what they're seeing, that just junk in general is 34.6% of what they're finding, just an overwhelming amount of junk. Okay, here's another roadside garbage incidents. This was in Western Merchant. It's over on the other side of Taylor's Ridge. So some people say, oh, well, they've only got a garbage problem on the north end of the county. Folks, that's not true. It's everywhere you look. And so these are some of our inmate crew that we send out, and they had to clean this up. So I've taken a consolidated department with our new codes director, put animal control, code enforcement, building inspection, planning and zoning, all under one leadership, because all this is tied together. Many times you go on a codes issue, you've also got an animal issue. A lot of times you find you've got permitting issues, there's additional structures that have been built or half built on the property. They've got issues where they're running electrical or plumbing that's not in compliance. And so we found very quickly that all of those things are tied together, and they all need to be in one department. And some of that's been segmented before. But that department now works 5 days a week. They were working 4/10s. And so if you were a builder and you were trying to make a development or something in our community, and you need your footings or your electrical inspected on Friday, you're just out of luck for the most part. We'll get to you Monday. So we've changed that, try to be more proactive, where we're working that whole crew now. Everyone in that department works a 5-day week, and so we feel like we're more productive. We've got 1,368 miles of road to pick up garbage on. So if you go down this road a mile and you come back on the other side of the road, that's 2 miles. So that's how we come up with this number of 1,368 miles. You got to go down one side and you got to come back up the other. We're working to put a plan in of a tire amnesty day, where we're finding a lot of tires, and we're seeing a lot of tires at people's houses that need to be thrown away or hauled off. Many people say, well, it's too expensive. It's $5 a tire, take them to the landfill as one example. So we're working on a program to get a grant where we'd be able to have a tire amnesty day at the landfill to accept these tires at no charge from our citizens. Also trying to work and finalize all the documentation for an Adopt a Road program as well. So this right here shows the first 4 months of how much litter has been picked up off the side of the road. And to put this in perspective, this is one full-time employee working with county inmates provided by the Sheriff's Department. And sometimes he'll get 2, 3, maybe 4 inmates to go out. So we're averaging the first 3 months, over 12,000 pounds average per month. So that's over 6 tons a month, roughly. So that guy was doing such a good, jump back to that one slide. This guy was doing such a good job, we promoted him to codes and gave him a raise, because we went from getting a little bit of trash to him being very aggressive, very proactive, and said, hey, we want to reward him for his ability to work so hard. I mean, because think about it. You're going to go pick up trash and you're going to work with inmates all day. That's not the most desirable thing to do. But he was very motivated to want to clean this county up. And he was excited that there was change in leadership that was saying, let's get this job done. So he got very motivated. So in April, that first week of April, we were transitioning. We didn't have our new guy in place. And so that 5,140 pounds, that was just 1 week. That was just last week. with a new staff person doing that job with inmates. Because he found out the last guy got promoted for doing a good job, and he asked me, he says, what do I got to do to get promoted to codes? This guy hadn't even started yet. He already wanted to know what he could do to get promoted. I said, man, you got to knock it out of the park. He said, I can do it. And he did. He did in 1 week and made up for the first week. So I was very impressed and I'm excited to see how the numbers come in toward the end of the month. Okay, this is tires that we've picked up. 156 in January, February 90, 36 in March, and 68 in April. But these are tires that was found on the side of the road in the ditches. This is a haven for mosquitoes. You know, you get the water in those tires, and it's just a haven for those mosquitoes to get into those tires and multiply. Okay, our animal shelter. This is a thing that when I first got in office, the first 2 or 3 weeks, when it comes to open records requests, this is probably my second biggest open records request was organizations, individuals looking for data about our animal shelter. And I had a little arm wrestling, so to speak, with some of the staff members because they said, look, we don't do it that way. We don't provide this information. If they're not from here, and they're just these groups, and they're just these activist groups, we don't give them all this information. And I said, what? I said, we're supposed to be transparent, open government. I don't care where they're from. If they want our data, we're going to provide it to them. And so a couple of these groups, I called them back up on the phone and said, hey, I'm the new commissioner. I've been here 4 days. I understand you want to know about our animal shelter. Yeah, we want the data. We want to know what your euthanasia rate is. And I go, you know what? So do I. I don't know either. But I'll tell you this. I'll give you this commitment. We will find out together. And we're going to start providing this data. And now we have this data being provided to us on a monthly basis that goes right to Joe. And so when we get a request, Joe can fill that request in just 2 or 3 minutes. Because we're not hiding this data anymore. So, as you see here, in 2015, when it says intake, that's how many dogs they took in. 1,652 dogs. Dog save rate, 57.32%. Cat intake, 1,334. Cat save rate, 16.79%, for a combined average of saved less than 40%. Folks, this is a tragedy. When they talk about unknown surprises going in as a commissioner, this was one of them. I knew we had a shelter. I knew we had a euthanasia program. You just about have to. But this was a tragedy to me. And I said, not on my watch anymore. This is not going to continue. This has got to stop. And so you see in 2016 they took in less animals, but the combined save rate's pretty much the same. And so the bottom graph here it says live release versus euthanasia of the dogs, of the shelter dogs and cats. So the blue is euthanasia, the green is live release or adopted out. And you can see, and that's combined both dogs and cats. Folks, if this don't break your heart, this is a tragedy. This is just unbelievable data to me. And so what we have found, being open and me being willing to call and talk to some of these people in these groups, I found out something very quickly. They've got the same goal I've got. They've got the same heartburn I've got when they see and hear these numbers. And they're not here to bring the hammer and hit us over the head. They want to help. They want to make a difference in this. And they want to be part of the solution, not come up here and just browbeat us. So, go to the next slide. We have partnered with Target Zero. And the name is very appropriate. Our target is 0. That's where we're headed. And our first goal is to be 90% save. And it's going to take a lot of work. And they sent us a very in-depth, comprehensive analysis on our shelter and our processes and our procedures and our staff. I bet that report was probably 40 pages or so. And folks, it's an eye-opener. And they've come up here and spent a lot of time with us, free of charge, willing to come back. They're a phone call away. We've had a couple of conference calls with them and our staff. And they have been a tremendous, tremendous blessing and help to us. And we're going to have some more news to come in the near future about this. But folks, under my watch, we're going to fix this problem. All right, next slide. Okay, we talked about a lot of issues here. The old saying there ought to be an app for that. Well, folks, we now have an app for that. It's called iWorks, and it's IWORQ. So if you go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store, you can pull your phone out now, and you can actually download this app, because you're going to need a code here. So if you don't want to download that now, you want to write this code down. So if you go to the next slide here, you're going to see we now have a Walker County app where you can take and sign up. And what this will allow you to be able to do is to go on there and you can establish an account if you desire, or you can just go in there as a guest. And you can, as you see problems throughout our county or concerns, whether it be a pothole or safety issue or codes violation or anything, you can go in here and log that. And you'll see over there on the third app, you'll see there that it says request number. So what will happen, get my little pointer out here, right here it says request number. It will actually generate a work order. And the cool thing about that is it will track that information on your profile. And so anytime you want to know the status of where we are on your request, you can pull your app back up, select whichever request, and you may have several listed down through there, and you can get an instant status report of where we are on what you have reported to us. So that's one of the questions I get a lot. Okay, I know of a code issue, I know of a zoning problem, a stormwater problem, and it could just be about anything that the county government handles. How do I report that? Which department? What phone number? What's their email? What's their hours of operations? Do they work on the weekends? I mean, all these type of things that you shouldn't have to worry about. You can go to this app, and you've got here at the bottom, you've got different categories, so it will direct that to the correct department, and you can log that information 24/7, 365. Next slide. So, as you can see, it's IWORQ. You can download that on the Apple Store or the PlayStation. Now what you'll need is this agency code. And that's WAL02. WAL02. You can create an account or continue as a guest. Some people don't like to give us their name and information. I understand that. Some people think maybe we're going to go run and tell their neighbors that. We don't do that. We just say, hey, we've got a complaint or we've noticed this. Especially too since we're being proactive and we're not working off of complaints always. We do take complaints, we do work them, but that's not exclusively. So, an officer could go up and address an issue. We don't even have to discuss who gives us the information. So that WAL02, you can create your account. It's pretty neat in there where if you already have a Facebook account or a Google email account, it allows you to link to that and preload your data for you so you can get signed up even faster. Okay. Folks, this right here, I know this picture is kind of hard to see with the glare and this being over a projector, but this is a sunrise at Lookout Mountain. Folks, we've got some of the most beautiful area in the state. When I have different people come up and see me, we had a convention here this Saturday, had 3 different people come up and tell me, it's just beautiful. The drive up here was just fantastic. We take for granted a lot of the beauty that we have in our county. And people from the outside come in and just go, wow, I had no idea this was here. Let's go back one slide. This right here is an unedited photo that a friend of mine sent to me of the sunrise coming off of, standing on the cliff of Lookout Mountain and the low clouds and all. Folks, they don't make that just everywhere. We've got a lot here to really be thankful for. Okay, next slide. So we've got some wonderful tourist attractions here. We've got Chickamauga Battlefield, Pigeon Mountain, Macklemore Coves, Mountain Cove Farms, Sea Rock City, and many, many more in our cities and all, but these are just kind of the big ones that we've got in our community. We're going to have a new tourist destination coming soon. So that's just kind of a teaser to throw out there for you. We've got some things we've been working on with some private investors, and in the very near future we'll be able to tell you about this, but coming very soon we'll have something that will really play in nicely with the other things here that we have in our community. Okay. This right here shows we've got 300 plus positions to be created before the end of 2017. Roper tells us they've got 100 positions open now. Neeson Brakes got 60 positions open now. Audia's got 40. Unique Fabrication 10 now, and 100 more later this year. We're in serious talks with 3 additional companies that would create about another 450 jobs, 450 additional jobs to this 300. So folks, if you know anybody that's looking for a job, there are jobs available in our community that are good paying jobs. Furthermore, we are having a career expo here at the Civic Center on May the 11th from 3 to 7. This is hosted by our Walker Day, Chattooga County, Georgia Department of Labor, Chamber of Commerce from each of those communities. This will be a packed house if we help get the word out. So if you know of anybody that's looking for a job, or they can contact Georgia Department of Labor and they can help them be prepared. So if you've got a friend or family member that says, well, I don't have a resume, or I don't know what to do, or how to say, how to talk to somebody about a job, they will contact the Georgia Department of Labor. They will help them be prepared for this event. Help them get a resume together. Do some practicing with them on being able to communicate to someone about looking for a job. As far as our public relations, Walker County newsletter, it launched in February 2017. Last night we hit over the 1,000 subscriber mark. So we've got 1,002 subscribers. This issue goes out monthly. If you want to subscribe to this newsletter, you can go to our website at walkerga.us and subscribe to that. And Joe does a fantastic job every month just kind of giving a recap of what's taking place in our community. And it's not always what I'm doing or my office is doing, it's what's also going on in our community. Also, our Facebook page, we've got over 2,400 followers now, over 22,000 reaches. Joe pretty well updates something on this every single day, so if you haven't liked us on Facebook, please do that. Also, we use this when we have a storm that comes through. Joe will be at the Emergency Management Command Center, and he will be there helping feed out the information and talk about any road closures or shelters or anything that have opened up. So anytime you have a storm and you want to know what's going on in Walker County, go to our Facebook page, and Joe will be keeping you updated. Okay, also with public relations, what we've done is we've created a YouTube channel for all of our meetings and anything that is created that's a video file. So you can go to YouTube and you can look at that. Also, we've changed that all of the meetings, the commissioners' meetings, are the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 6:30. All the agendas are posted here on the website, and then we keep that data updated so you can go back and look at prior meetings. You can go back and watch the video of the meetings. So this is something here that we've done new. We don't just release just the agenda. We'll give you the complete package of the agenda, so you've got all the documents, attachments, anything that I'm going to talk about, execute, review. You can find that all on the website prior to the meeting. And then we'll also have extra copies at the meeting as well. In March, we had 52 stories that we were able to track through media, so we appreciate the local media doing that for us. 35 in February, 27 in January, and those all come from newspaper, TV, radio, or online. And so we track how much exposure we get. So here's some shots of different interviews and things that we've done throughout the community. So we want to be in the community, be active, and let you know what's going on, and appreciate the media giving us the coverage. Also, we have been awarded a scholarship for an intern position at the Commissioner's Office. This is funded in part through Association of County Commissioners. This is a grant that will pay an undergrad or graduate college student, now they already have to be currently in college or going to their graduate level of college, this internship will pay $10 an hour up to 40 hours a week. And so we have created a job description for this for a person to work with Joe in public relations to assist in web and social media development and everything that we're doing. So if you know anybody that's a college student that's looking for a paid intern to work with an outstanding public relations person that's got a tremendous amount of media experience, have them send their resume to Human Resources at walkercountyga.us. There's more details on the website. Coming soon, our animal shelter, our Target Zero campaign will be kicking off. Got the new fire station renovation to full-time in Flintstone. We're still waiting on the 2016 final audit information. We're having some challenges getting all the data back in on the pension fund. There was a lot of movement, as you well know, on our pension fund last year, and so we're waiting for the actuary to get us that information. We're working on our Adopt a Road program, redoing our website to come out with a brand new website where we can have more of our records, and also our Used Tire Amnesty Day. Okay, final slide. This is our last slide of the day. This is our contact information. This has my email address, Joe Legee's email address, our phone number at the office, also again the website address and Facebook. So I hope that's been very informative to you today. I hope you have a better understanding of what's going on in county government. Does anybody have any questions? Well, I must have covered things pretty good. But I hope there's some positive things there. We're going to be also doing some, looking for some volunteers for animal shelter. So if that's something that you have a passion about and would like to get more involved in our campaign or animal shelter, be happy to have you come volunteer with us. It's been a great pleasure to be here today to speak to you. I very much enjoyed being your commissioner, and I look forward to working hard for you through the rest of this year. Thank you.